This is the most difficult thing I have ever written or spoken. I do not know how many times I've started only to throw it away. My first few drafts were about things that everyone knew about my dad, who he was as a teacher, a coach, and an athletic trainer. Everyone who's in the audience, in person or online, and anyone who has ever experienced Mr. D is able to tell a version of those stories. All of us have them. They are all special. He was an amazing man, and his legacy lives on in everyone that he taught, coached, fished with, and even those who just knew him a little. I need to tell you the story of how I was so blessed to have this amazing man for my father. He taught me how to walk the path to become an adult and what that really means. As I look at how Dad lived his life, I see several themes that have repeated themselves over and over again. Leave everything better than you found it. Treat people better than you want to be treated. Accept and do not judge. Dad would say, but for the grace of God, that could be me. Words are important, but actions speak louder. Serve in this order: God, others, and then self. Your time is the most important gift you can give. Be humble. These themes seem to commingle and appear to be a single thing in how he interacted with his family, friends, strangers, and with nature. When I was little, leave it better than you found it was about cleaning up the areas where you were. The best example of this is when the family would go camping. The first thing we would do when we would arrive was to clean up our campsite and the close proximity while Mom and Dad set up the camper. When we were getting ready to leave the campground, it meant picking up our site, but also all the unoccupied neighboring sites as well. That was just how things were done as a Dilbone. Once I had my own kids and went camping, I realized that this was just not about leaving it better, but it was also about getting the kids out of the way while the adults packed up. It was, and still is, a move of utter genius. It took me quite a while to realize that leaving it better also applied to how he treated and interacted with people. When I was in college, I thought I knew who and what Dad was. I was right, but I didn't understand the depth and nuance of how he lived his life. It wasn't until after I was married and a father that I began to understand the depth and power of Dad's example on how to live. One little thing Dad did all the time, the importance and impact which continues to increase for me, is how he treated people. His interactions made their days better. It made no difference if it was a cashier at the grocery, a receptionist, a nurse, a doctor, a former student, or even a stranger on the street. His smile and kind words positively impacted everyone around him. This is something I try to do in my interactions with people. I'm not nearly as skilled at this as Dad, but with practice, maybe I can get there. Dad always accepted people wherever they were in their life's journey. He always accepted me as I was finding my way. The place where this was the most obvious is when we, kids, brought home our significant others and eventually got married. He welcomed each one into the family and made them feel like they had always been a part of the family. My wife Lisa says that Dad treated her like a daughter from the first time they met. I remember Lisa and I being home for college for the weekend and watching TV while Dad was in the bathtub. After getting out of the bathroom, Dad shouted from the kitchen as he was walking from the bathroom to the stairway in his underwear or towel, "I'm coming through. I have my eyes closed." Lisa asked what that meant, and I told her what was happening. Welcome to the family. The concept of servant leadership had not been coined when Dad started his career, but Dad could have been the poster child. The way Dad lived his life was a perfect example. I do not remember Dad talking about the importance of serving, just that he did it. No task was beneath him. He just did what needed to be done. His example of how to serve shaped me beyond what I realized. The first year I was a middle school principal, I had asked the custodian to make sure to do a quick sweep of the halls after a specific transition period. We all know how messy middle schoolers are, and how if something is not clean, they tend to add to the problem rather than making it better. Well, one day the custodian had too many things going at once and was not going to be able to get it done. So I grabbed the dust mop to do a quick sweep. It literally took 10 minutes and was a great break from the other things that I was supposed to be doing. It was no big deal. At least I thought it was no big deal. But it caused quite a ruckus among the staff because the principal should not be sweeping. Dad served where and when he was needed. That could be church, school, the park, Gall Woods, and many other places. One of the simplest and most profound things I witnessed my father do was to connect with my daughters, and really all his grandkids. His love and care for them was tangible. He always took time to sit and talk with them and fully invest in their time together. Their interactions were pure joy for Grandpa, for grandchild, and for those of us who were watching. I hope you were able to see the joy in those interactions in the slideshow. They would tie flies, fish, read, and sing his silly song about the little skunk's hole. Take it out, play games, and even mow the lawn together. Of course, mowing the lawn was on a riding lawnmower, and when I was a kid, I always had the pleasure of using a push mower. It really didn't matter what they were doing. They were having fun and being encouraged and blessed by Grandpa. If Dad was able, he was present to support his grandkids in all their endeavors. I strive to have that kind of connection with my kids and hope to create it with my grandkids in the future. Dad taught me so many things that I could probably go on way too long. Probably already have. And the funny thing is, now that I'm over 50, I'm starting to figure out how many things he really showed me and how it shaped my life. I think I can sum up the whole of how Dad lived his life and how he wants us to live our lives and what he wants us to pass on to our own kids in one sentence. A few years ago, probably a decade or more by now, people wore bracelets and other items that asked WWJD. What would Jesus do? Dad knew the answer. Dad lived the answer. The answer is, he would love first. And Dad, he did that.